of Biafra. Arise, all children of Chukwokikabiama. Arise, lovers of freedom.
I've been Amana Tomotans all province to see one of our victims to where the SARS shot our people to death. This one of the victims, only the survivor of those guys. So I want to know what happened, really happened, what transpired over there. Good day, my brother. Dalo.
Dalo mazi.
Ahambo mazo Ruby Chukune, yeah. Actually, why Africa, Yama.
Ahambo mazi eze utosro Chukwe Emmanuel.
Because actually, why you back here?
Au monye Ebonyi State.
Ebonyi State.
Mboji presided in Osiri, Ohozra.
Okay.
Ebonyi State.
Ebonyi State. Can be people.
Ebim na Umutanze eba.
Umutanze.
Yes, sir.
Amana.
Good morning, good afternoon. Hello viewers, how are you doing today? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time zone, and welcome to another amazing episode of Rulers and Looters. You know, in this program, we discuss the problems in Africa and a way forward. Remember, this is BTV, Anambra State, the Ego Eye, and I am Onyinye Chukwunamko. With me today here in the studio is on my left, Madam welcome to the program. Thank you. And on my right, Mazi Onyemechi, you are welcome. So we'll be looking at an overview of the impact of European intervention in Africa per se. You know, with Africa being the birthplace of civilization, rich in history, abundance in natural resources, and diversity in cultures that make Africa beautiful. What can you say, Mazi, that the Europe brought in Africa that is new to Africa?
You started by saying that Africa is a great place of mankind. Then, before I enter inside your question to answer it, you know, there has been a kind of controversy that is being trending now about the birthplace of mankind. Some researchers from Europe, these are UK, they started propagating another theory about the birthplace of mankind. Between 2012 and 2013, they started a program, and they said that they have discovered another civilized Homo sapiens that is older than the one that Jealous and these people discovered in Africa. And with that discovery, they now try to tell the world that the Europe.
Some is a forest for you. Can't you hear me when I say Mr. Soldier? Stop shooting the Biafrans. Mr. Soldier, stop shooting the Biafrans. Mr. Soldier, stop shooting the youth men. Mr. Soldier, stop killing the youth men. Can't you hear me when I say Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon? Some is a forest for you. Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon, some is a forest for you. Whoa, yo, Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon, some is a forest for you. Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon, some is a forest for you. To hear me when I say Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon, some is a forest for you. Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon, some is a forest for you. To hear me when I say Mr. Soldier, stop killing my brothers. Mr. Soldier, stop shooting my people. Mr. Soldier, stop shooting my mother. Mr. Soldier, stop shooting my mothers. Mr. Soldier, stop shooting my father. Then, Mr. Soldier, stop shooting my father. Can't you hear me when I say Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon? Some is a forest for you. Oh yo, Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon. Some is a forest for you. Can't you hear me when I say, Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon? Sambisa forest for you. Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon. Sambisa forest for you. Whoa, yo, Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon. Sambisa forest for you. Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon. Sambisa forest for you. Can't you hear me when I say, Mr. Soldier? Stop shooting the youth to Biafrans. Mr. Soldier, so you did youth men. Mr. Soldier, stop killing my sister them. Mr. Soldier, stop killing my sisters. Mr. Soldier, stop shooting my father them. Mr. Soldier, stop shooting my fathers. Mr. Soldier, stop shooting my mother them. Mr. Soldier, stop shooting my people. Can't you hear me when I say, Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon, Sambisa forest for you. Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon, Sambisa forest for you. Can't you hear me when I say, Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon, Sambisa forest for you. Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon, Sambisa forest for you. Whoa, yo, Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon, Sambisa forest for you. Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon, Sambisa forest for you. Can't you hear me when I say, Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon, Sambisa forest for you. Mr. Soldier, Mr. Babylon, Biafra land is not for war. We are not for war. Yeah.
Hello and welcome back, Biafrans and lovers of freedom, great Biafrans. It's good to know you are there, and we deeply apologize for the breaking transmission. We are having some technical issues and some challenges here. That is the reason why we have that interruption. But we are good now, and we are happy to know that you are there. Of course, this is Biafran Television. This is news updates on Biafran Television. Our duty is to make sure we dissect every news that is coming from the zoo mainstream media in order to break it down for your own understanding, and for you to be properly educated on what is going on in the zoo, because half education is is more dangerous than none. So it is quite important for you to understand the truth of the situation. That is why we come here all the time, to make sure we establish the truth. And I'm not here alone in the studio. I have Mazi Brightoria. Mazi Brightoria, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
Of course, we've been discussing some number of issues, ranging from Emir Sanusi was sure Buhari will die in London. He asked Osibanjo to make him vice president. That is coming from Junaid Mohammed. And of course, we have Boko Haram kill 6 policemen in Dapchi attack. That is coming from Daily Post. And of course, Nigeria loses 400,000 barrels of crude oil daily. That is coming from Femi Bajabiamila, the Speaker of the House of Representatives. And of course, we have a family of 4 die, and 11 others die in Lagos explosion. Of course, we are looking at the issue of the statement that was made by Femi Bajabiamila, that is the Speaker of House of Representatives, Femi Bajabiamila, who said that in a public hearing on crude oil theft, he explained that money from crude oil is stolen from the country, would have been appropriated and used to improve the nation's education and health care. And Mazi Bright, you know, this is what they use as an excuse all the time. First of all, you know, you have to tell us what he meant by 400,000 barrels of crude oil. That is, Nigeria loses 400,000 barrels of crude oil on daily on theft, as a result of crude oil theft. And of course, he talked about those of the money that has been lost in this very process are supposed to be used in improving the educational sector and other places. How about when those things were not being theft? What have they been able to do in those sectors, or the ones that they have been able to, you know, achieve themselves? The crude oil they have been stealing, because I call it stealing because they have been stealing it from Biafran land. So what would you make of that?
Well, likely he has the record of the products they are stealing and selling through the black market. because it is the same people that are doing the same business. And of course, we know that the real oil business is done by the British government. They are the ones that know exactly how much oil that is being produced in Nigeria. Even the Nigerian government actually don't know how the amount of oil that is leaving Biafra land. So when we are talking about the oil in Biafra land, and sometimes we need to ask, maybe could this oil actually have not been one of the reasons why we keep fighting for Biafra and they kill us? You look at it, there's no other reason. So if they're losing 400 barrels, I mean 400,000 barrels on oil theft, and is telling you what they would have done with it, what actually did they do with the one in their hands? Yes,
that's the question.
Yes, because when you look at all the politicians, you look at anybody who is into business, they want to eat us from all angles. So actually the real people doing the theft are the British government, because they deceive our people. They deceive the from since how many years they have been stealing and using it to take care of their economy. And of course, even the ones that they say they attribute to Nigeria, they give to Nigeria, they allow Nigerians to have record of the amount of oil they have, they still take it back, because at the end of the day you discover that through corruption our politicians steal it and still go to invest it in their own economy. Then apart from it, those of them that are talking about oil theft through the black market, who are doing the business, it's the same politicians that are doing the business, because those who doing oil theft are being escorted also by the military men, by the police. So what are you talking about? So we are, maybe he knows the amount of oil they sell in the black market. He maybe had a little knowledge, of course, of the records of the oil they steal and sell through the back door. So you are talking about oil theft, and he's talking about oil theft in the evil contraction called Nigeria. You ask yourself, which one did they actually not steal? They steal directly and they steal indirectly. All the oil they take from Biafra land, they stole it from the people. The people don't have access to the oil. And of course, I keep saying it, that we are living in a land that is blessed with milk and honey, and we are not allowed to taste the honey. We are not allowed to suck the honey. We are not allowed to take the milk, because the land is the mineral resources, the resources in the land is stolen. All of them are stolen. Our people were deceived, and of course, up until now, we want to reclaim what is naturally our own. The natural resources, actually, would I say, it has become a curse to us, because get to Bayelsa, you discover that you talk about oil pollution in those areas. There is no place you go to in the coastal region and you will be proud of and say, yes, there is oil. In fact, all the communities where they're producing oil is the worst place you can ever step to on earth. You get to those places, you talk about oil spillage, you talk about the same water where they take their bait, it's the same water they drink, and of course, to worsen it, you see that oil is floating on the same water, and of course, you discover that the same places they farm, oil spillage will not allow them to catch the fish, because the fishes are dying off. So you are seeing a situation where everything has been stolen from the people. So he's talking about 400 barrels, but it's not just about 400 barrels. Is he counting the one that the British government is stealing, or is he counting the one that is directly stolen by the government? So everything about our oil is stolen. Nothing is left in the hands of the indigenous people. And when we are fighting to restore Biafra, we want to restore everything. Yes, oil is not actually our real problem, because if without the oil, we can still survive. Our real reason for fighting for Biafra is because we want to be free. We want to live in our land as free people and move about as free people. And of course, maybe the oil shouldn't have been in the first place, so that at least we'll be free to live as human beings. Because first we need to regain our identity, reclaim our dignity, and be human beings before we start talking about the oil, because we can survive. There are countries without oil and they live good lives. They survive and they do well. So the oil, the stealing of oil in Biafra land, of course, have been introduced by the British government. And of course, they steal from every angle. They can continue to steal. That is what Nigeria represents.
Of course, stealing and deception is what the so-called Nigeria represent. But the fact remains that those who are stealing things from Biafra land are coming out now to complain or to shout that 400,000 barrels of crude oil is being stolen, and I keep wondering who the thief he is here. He drew the attention of the public hearing to similar investigations carried out in the past, but lamented that the practice has continued unabated, leading to huge financial losses to the country. He, however, expressed confidence that the president's investigation will go a long way to address the challenges in the sector. And of course, the chairman of ad hoc committee and deputy leader of the House, Peter Patterson, said that the delay in the investigation as a result of the reluctance of some stakeholders to make available relevant information to aid the work of the committee. Mazi Bright, I don't know if you got the where they are heading to, because when you look at this, now the people that are pointing out about the thief and the stealing are the ones behind it, and some of them are hindering investigation. So what would you make of that?
Investigating who, and of course, who is going to carry out the investigation itself? Because we are talking about criminals investigating themselves over the same crime they have committed. The same criminals that steal are the same criminals that raise up committees to investigate the crime they committed. So they are the ones that would hit it in the bush, and they will still come out to shout who is hitting something in the bush. So it is the same people. So there's no point talking about investigation, because who are you going to investigate? Maybe they have got some people in mind they want to actually deal with. I think that's exactly what they want, where they are driving at. They want to, of course, put some people in jail, and they want to jail some people. So whenever you see them talking in this direction, actually there's one or two people they are bearing in mind they actually want to deal with. And of course, when they deal with such people and put them behind bars, they announce to the international community that they are fighting corruption, whereas the government itself is a corrupt entity.
Of course, that is very, very sad, and the government that claim they are fighting corruption are the real foundation of corruption itself. Of course, Biafrans and lovers of freedom, this is news update on Biafran television. Of course, our lines are open for you to call in to give us update. Those of you in Biafran land, please do call in to give us update of what is happening around you. And of course, those of you in diaspora can also call in to make some contribution or give us updates if you have any, based on the topic we have here. And of course, the issues we are discussing some important issue, because when you look at this issue of 400,000 barrels of oil that Femi Gbajabiamila is talking about, this stealing has been going on for years, and there has not been any proper accountability about this very issue. And the question remains that what are the Biafrans doing to make sure we restore Biafra, our land, in order to forestall further occurrences of this, just like Mazi Bright rightly pontificated that the Bayelsa area of Biafran land, there has been a great oil spillage and the destruction of crops and other means of livelihood. And what are Biafrans doing in order to make sure that we restore our land so that people can be free to live a decent life? Mazi Bright, before you conclude on this one, what advice are you going to give to some of those of our brothers, you know, who are being accused of this thief? Because most of them, this oil or this crude oil is being found in their land. And how is it that somebody from all the way from Yoruba or wherever he or she is coming from, or from Sokoto, is the one to come out to make the announcement that somebody is stealing something that is gotten from his land? I mean, how would you express this?
Well, the Mieti Allah, the Fulani herdsmen, Boko Haram, and of course the leaders of the Northern Forum once made a statement, the youth leader, that the oil in Biafra land belongs to them. And of course, when they said that Nigeria is their inheritance, what they are actually targeting is the oil in Biafra land. So that is the inheritance, what they call their inheritance. And of course, that is why you see all the means of survival, all they have put their future is in the oil in Biafra land. And that is why everything you see them doing, every effort you see them making, all their last blood, they are putting it to make sure that they stay on the oil and drink the oil until they die on the oil. Didn't you see Abacha? Abacha kept drinking the oil until he died on the oil. So that is why any of them occupying any position, they are actually after the oil. And of course, you ask yourself, oil wells in Biafra land, who are the owners of those oil wells? When you hear Atiku, and of course, when the people were articulating, I was looking at people articulating, because he had a lot of oil wells in Biafra land. And of course, when he kept saying one Nigeria, because of his oil wells. So, it's about the injustice against our people, and of course, the stealing of oil in Biafra land. So, they are the one pointing out that, see, that our people are now, and you ask yourself, actually, are our people stealing their oil? Do we have access to the oil? Because the oil is in Biafra land, and we have no access to it. If we have access to the oil in Biafra land, I think there won't be any need for hunger, because the people shouldn't be hungry. The people there won't be crying out of oil spillage. But we have a situation where instead of giving the people only water to drink, because they cry for water, they don't see water to drink. You see, the indigenous people, especially our people at the coastal region, cry out for water. And instead of water, they get the oil spillage. That is what comes out for them to drink. And in the same place where they take their bait, water with oil spillage, that is the same place they defecate, and that is the same place they bath, and they take the oil to cook, the water to cook, and they drink the same water. So that is to tell you that instead of stealing the oil, maybe it is the oil spillage, the one that is dropping on top of the water that they are still after, telling our people that yes, that could be, because that is the only one that our people have access to, the oil spillage, the one that of course happen to spill on the water they drink. So that is the level of evil. When I tell you the level of cruelty in the heart of the enemies, in the heart of the British government, and of course the Hausa Fulani, that is the level. They are cruel men and cruel women, and we need to fight to free ourselves, because our people need to sit up and understand that when we are talking about freedom, freedom has to be total. You need to stand up and fight for what belongs to you.
Of course, that is very, very important. We need to fight for what is ours. We are fighting not just with every other means of fight. We are fighting with whatever we have in our arsenal to make sure we restore Biafra, because that is our own heritage. That is the only thing we can call our own, because we don't have any other thing else, because we have crude oil, we have every other thing, but then those things are being stolen from our land, and we don't even have any right to question those who are stealing it. The British government, who killed millions of Biafrans, Harold Wilson and the rest of them, they killed millions of Biafrans because of what we have in our land, and now we don't even have our life. So we are fighting more or less to safeguard our life from being totally stripped away from us. So that's what we are fighting. We are not fighting for crude oil. Of course, crude oil had never helped anybody before. Crude oil had never helped any Biafran at all for the very first time in his or her life. So what we are fighting is for Biafra, because we believe Biafra is our own, and Biafra is going to give us what crude oil cannot be able to give us. Of course, this is Biafran Television. This is news update on Biafran Television, and our lines are open for you to call in to give us updates of what is happening around you, and also to make your contribution based on the topic we are discussing. And of course, the last topic we have here is a family of 4, 11 others die in Lagos explosion. That is coming from Punch newspaper. The National Emergency Management Agency says 15 corpses, including a family of 4, have been recovered from the scene of Saturday's explosion, which occurred at Abule Ado, Trade Fair axis of Lagos State. Also, no fewer than 60 students of Bethlehem Girls College, located within the area, who sustained various degrees of injuries in the incidents, were also taken to the Nigerian Navy Hospital in Ojo Cantonment. And before I read further, Mazi Bright, how would you assess the situation of what's going on in Lagos State? And after that, I would also like us to play the video of the incident, so that people who are just joining us can watch and see things for themselves, the level of destruction. Mazi Bright.
You see, what really annoys me with this report from the Nigerian Gotham media is that they went quickly to make absolute the number of people that died. They said a family of 4 and 11 others, meaning 15 people. Of course, which is not true, which is not actually true. They would actually tell us that up until now, nobody can actually ascertain how many people that have died, because there were those that died immediately, and some people are dying. Of course, some people died later. So, and of course, telling us that a family of 4 and 11 others, when you have a lot of people that have not been reported, their whereabouts has not been reported. Of course, you need to investigate and actually identify how many people that are involved. But they are quickly making giving numbers, because people are still dying as a result of the fire. Of course, the explosion. They call it explosion, but we know that it was a bomb blast that took place. So we are talking about a situation where nobody is safe in the evil contraction called Nigeria. There's nowhere you are today that you can sleep with your eyes closed. And when we keep saying it, and it sounds so funny sometimes, people think we're just making a statement, we're just cooking up words. We mean it by every bit. If our people who live in Abuledo would know, of course we are told that a thing will happen that they would be the victims, they won't believe it. They will think that yes, Fulani herdsmen are killing in the north, and of course they think they are safe in Lagos. And of course that's to tell you that there's nowhere you are today in the evil contraction that is safe. Because the same Fulani people, Hausa Fulani that we are talking about, that's killing in the north are in Lagos. And of course they are also in Biafra land. So they are everywhere. Your life is not safe. They are either coming to kill, and of course directly with their guns, or they create explosions, and of course create bomb blasts, and through different terrorist attacks, our people are being killed, our people are being targeted, and our people are dying, and dying in their huge numbers, not on monthly basis, not on yearly basis. We are talking about something that happened hourly. Our people are dying on daily basis, and so many of the killings, so many of the deaths are not being reported. These ones are the heavy ones. And of course, when they report 15 people, go and check the real figures of people. They're talking about hundreds of people here being involved. And of course, we don't know, I cannot ascertain actually how the number of people, because how is this? And of course, you know when fuel is burning, you know what it means when you have such explosion takes place. And of course, you know that there are those who die as a result of shock. Of course, as a result of the explosion. And of course, there are some of them will be hospitalized, and some of them will die in the hospital. So there are some of them whose dead body will not be recovered immediately, because there have been cases where dead bodies were recovered 2 weeks after, 1 month after. So you don't rush to a conclusion that yes, a family of 4 and 11 others, whereas people are still dying. So you are looking at a situation where there is no government, and the people are left to suffer. The people are left to burn, and of course to roast, and they smell their own death, and they burn to death. And of course you say they are going to hell. Which other hell are you talking about? Nigeria is the hellfire you hear, of course, you talk about every day. You want to avoid hellfire. That is to tell you that you need to avoid Nigeria, because Nigeria is already burning worse than hell. There's no other picture. If you want to catch a picture of hell, just look at fire outbreaks in the evil contraction called Nigeria. Count how many that you have had since 2019 up until now. How many you have in Lagos? How many have you had in Biafra land? And of course, you check it. That is to tell you that you have got something stronger than hell burning in the evil contraction called Nigeria. So we must fight for our freedom. We must stand up as a people. And of course, when we're talking about collective fight, you are not an IPOB member. You are doing yourself a lot of harm. If you are not IPOB family member, you are doing yourself a lot of harm, because who knows the next person that will be involved. And when we say the fight has to be all inclusive, all hands have to be on deck. Because today you are laughing, don't mind them, these IPOB people, don't mind them. You don't know who is going to be involved in the next killing. You don't know whose explosion is going to be involved in the next fire outbreak, and of course the next bomb blast. You don't know who. You don't know where they are going to target next. So when we are saying rescue yourself, save your own soul, because you don't expect anybody, an angel to fall from heaven to come and fight for you. Because some of you are praying, God send your angels. God is not sending any angel. You are the angel God has raised in this generation. You are to fight, stand up and fight for your freedom. America wasn't built by an army of angels. Don't expect any angel to come from America, to come from heaven, to come from Britain or anywhere to save you. Freedom is not given. Freedom is taken by the oppressed. You that is fighting for your freedom, you are the angel. Anybody who is fighting to free himself, you are the instrument that Chukwukabiama is using. So that is why I say every human being, whereas you are human being, you have a soul in you, you can reason like human being, you have an obligation to stand up and fight for your freedom. Because if not, because terrible days, the days are evil, terrible things are happening, and the killings, the deaths that is occurring on a daily basis is more than horror. Because President Trump described the killing of Christians in Africa, in Nigeria, as horrible. But we are seeing something worse than horror. This is hellfire. is getting worse than hellfire.
Of course, that's what it is. Nigeria is evil. Nigeria is hellfire. Of course, right about now, we are going to play the video of that horrible incident that happened in Biafran-dominated area in Lagos. Take out your time and view it. We are coming back.
This is pipeline explosion at Amuodofi local government, Abulado to be precise, inside of Monile. Please, we need assistance from fire service. This video should go viral, please. We need the appropriate authority to intervene. It is massive. There has been a lot of destruction of houses here. It is assumed that people are inside the building itself. So this thing is true. It is happening live at Abulado, Amuodofi local government. Please, look at it. It is happening live. It is live at Amuodofi local government. Please. Abulado first and first too. That is where it's happening. Adeshoba. This video should go viral. We need appropriate authorities to intervene. The fire is ongoing now, as you can see. It is massive. Houses are destroyed. There has been a casualties. Unconfirmed casualties though. But houses are destroyed. This is pipeline explosion at Amuodofi local government, Abulado to be precise, inside of Monile. Please, we need assistance from fire service. This video should go viral, please. We need the appropriate authority to intervene. It is massive. There has been a lot of destruction of houses here. It is assumed that people are inside the building itself. So this thing is true. It is happening live at Abulado, Amuodofi local government. Please, look at it. It is happening live. It is live at Amuodofi local government. Please. Abulado first and first too. That is where it's happening. Adeshoba. This video should go viral. We need appropriate authorities to intervene. The fire is ongoing now, as you can see. It is massive. Houses are destroyed. There has been a casualties. Unconfirmed casualties though. But houses are destroyed.
Of course, Biafrans and all of us of freedom, you are welcome back. This is Biafran Television. This is news updates on Biafran Television. Of course, we are here to bring you the truth. That video you have just viewed now is the coverage of the on-ground incidents that happened in Lagos, and of course those pictures you have just also viewed with those crowd building and the level of destruction and devastation goes along with to tell you that that is not a pipeline explosion as was earlier stipulated. It is a bomb blast explosion, and of course we have gotten other information that is coming in that there have been some improvised explosive device that was discovered at the site, though the government have chosen to keep it secret for now, but we are making bold to reveal it to you here that some improvised explosive device, that is IED, is also found at the site of the explosion. So it goes a long way to confirm the statement that we have been making here, and from all the callers that make their contribution that pontificated that it is a bomb blast explosion, even though the government of the so-called Nigeria is trying to hide and run away from it. We've been able to prove them wrong. It is bomb blast explosion. Of course, no fewer than 60 students of Bethlehem Girls College located within the area who sustained various degrees of injuries in the incidents we are taken to the Nigerian Navy Hospital in Ojo. Acting coordinator of NEMA in Lagos, Mr. Ibrahim, Farin Loye told the news agency of Nigeria that a couple and their 2 sons were caught by the explosion on their way to church around about 9 a.m. on Sunday. Farin Loye said over 50 buildings, including Bethlehem Girls College and Popular Hotel, were damaged in the explosion. And before I read further, Mazi Bright, from the picture, and for that incident, and the federal government coming out to tell that this is a bomb pipeline explosion. Now, how can you how would you react to this? Because from all this latest revelation that is coming up now goes a long way, because these people, they say that 50 buildings, we are completely destroyed, just like you can see on the screen, the cracked building, and even the young man speaking, calling for help. You see how the area was totally devastated. Do you think it is still in any way or by any chance a pipeline explosion?
Well, the truth is that we know that the terrorist government we have don't acknowledge these activities as terrorist activities. But it is clear that the killings and the bombings and that has been going on are clear terrorist attacks. And of course, when they started happening at skeletal levels, we looked at them and we kept pointing out that these things are terrorist attacks. Oftentimes, we have had a good number of them in Biafra land. And of course, we have had more than 5 times, and of course, with a lot of people died in the process, where you had tanker explosions with petroleum products. And of course, they would drive into crowd, and sometimes you have them turn this thing from a flyover, and they'll fall and explode. So there have been calculated attacks. So this is not the first. There are evidences that this is pure terrorist attack. One is that you see cracked buildings. When you talk about pipeline explosion, why must this pipeline explosion always be around residential areas? And of course, we're talking about residential areas where Biafrans are living in particular. And now you are having cracked buildings. You are now having pieces, of course, elements that show that these things are explosives. You see the elements there. You see the pieces of the explosive that were used by the terrorists. And of course, the federal government of the evil contraction called Nigeria will still come out to tell you that it was it was a pipeline explosion. And tell me, why would a pipeline just explode? Of course, why would a pipeline just explode at this sensitive area, especially the area occupied by Biafrans? So you discover that it is a calculated work, it's a calculated attempt, and with all the evidences, you discover that Biafrans have been targeted. Not only in this case, but in all the cases, we have been able to prove from north to Biafra and to Lagos, wherever Biafrans live, we have been targeted. And of course, the evil contraction called Nigeria, the owners of the evil contraction called Nigeria, the Fulani cabals, the Fulani mafians running the affairs of the evil, have actually equipped themselves sophisticatedly with plans, real plans, to make sure that they annihilate the indigenous people of Biafra. So we are putting the word on alert, and of course, pointing out clearly, when we are saying we want to be free, we are fighting to be free, because we are being killed, and we are being killed. We are killed in thousands. It's no longer 1 or 2 killings. It's no longer they are no longer comfortable just going to bomb a church where you have 50 members or 10 members. They are now doing massive killings. And of course, you see the Gota media telling you about 15. No, when you have buildings, and you know how Biafrans live. With any area you see Biafrans living, you know that we live in a communal life. So you don't have 1 or 2 Biafrans living in a place. We live, of course, in a house where you have storied houses. You have 2 deck, 3 deck, and of course 2 deck, 1 deck, and of course bungalows there around those areas. We don't live alone. We live with our families. So these are the houses that we are destroyed. These are the houses that we are burnt, and of course, with people living in those houses dying, and some of them being sustaining heavy injuries that they are not sure they will recover from. So this is how Biafrans are being killed. And of course, look at the area. Look at Alaba International. You know, these are the things you need to look at and see how Biafrans are being targeted. And when we say we want Biafra to be restored, somebody somewhere sniffing out something and talking nonsense. We are the indigenous people of Biafra. We have no other life to live. We have no other alternative than to stand up and restore our nation, restore our freedom, restore our dignity, and live as human beings, because we cannot continue to keep dying like chicken, because we cannot just keep being prey in the hands of the enemy.
Of course, that's what it is, Biafrans and lovers of freedom. This is news updates on Biafran television. Of course, my name is Mazi Victor Oyind, and I have Mazi Bright Oriako, who is doing the wonderful work of educating and also dissecting the issues we have here. And of course, right now we are talking about the explosion that took place in Lagos, state of the zoo called Nigeria. I would like you to also take another look at the pictures of the devastation. You will see the damaged car and the buildings, and also be the judge of yourself that that is a bomb blast explosion, because the pipeline explosion can never give you that magnitude of destruction. We'll be right back after a short moment. I want you to view the video and the pictures again in order for you to confirm the points we are making here. We'll be right back.
This is pipeline explosion at Amuodofi local government, Ablado to be precise, inside of Monile. Please, we need assistance from fire service. This video should go viral, please. We need the appropriate authority to intervene. It is massive. There has been a lot of destruction of houses here. It is assumed that people are inside the building itself. So this thing is true. It is happening live at Ablado, Amuodofi local government. Please. Look at it. It is happening live. It is live at Amuodofi local government. Please. Ablado first 2. That is where it's happening. Adeshoba. This video should go viral. We need appropriate authorities to intervene. The fire is ongoing now, as you can see. It is massive. Houses are destroyed. There has been a casualties. Unconfirmed casualties though. But houses are destroyed. This is pipeline explosion at Amuodofi local government, Ablado to be precise, inside of Monile. Please, we need assistance from fire service. This video should go viral, please. We need the appropriate authority to intervene. It is massive. There has been a lot of destruction of houses here. It is assumed that people are inside the building itself. So this thing is true. It is happening live at Ablado, Amuodofi local government. Please. Look at it. It is happening live. It is live at Amuodofi local government. Please. Ablado first 2. That is where it's happening. Adeshoba. This video should go viral. We need appropriate authorities to intervene. The fire is ongoing now, as you can see.
Hello and welcome back, Biafrans and all lovers of freedom. Of course, this is news updates on Biafran television. Of course, you've been viewing the level of devastation, the level of destructions of means of livelihood and cars and properties in Biafran dominated area in Lagos State. Of course, you are now the judge to confirm the point that we have been making here, that is a bomb blast explosion, because our duty is to come here to expose the lies of the zoo. That is what we come here to do. The Nigerian government are trying to hide all the evidence to show that is the handiwork of the terrorists, which they are part of. Of course, my name is Mazi Victor Oyindo, and I have Mazi Bright Oriaku with me here, who is doing the great work of educating and dissecting the issues we have here. And of course, the concluding part of the story is that he said the resulting fire later spread to the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation oil pipeline passing through the area, even though the pipeline had been shut down as a precautionary measure. The fire eventually was extinguished at about 3:30 p.m. through combined efforts of the officials of the Lagos State Fire Service and the Nigerian Navy fire tender. One of the victims of this incident, Mr. Abayomi Abeyi, said his building was severely damaged while his wife sustained injuries from the explosion. That is coming from NAN, that is National News Agency of Nigeria. All right, Mazi Bright, how would you summarize this very headline?
You know, when you see the amount of budgets, the amount budgeted for security, oil, the pipeline security, and of course to the point that even wherever you are, you touch the pipeline, the security agents are supposed to be on alert. And of course, you see in a case like this, fire is burning from 9 a.m. up until 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and those that of course receive heavy amount of money to protect the oil pipelines were nowhere to be found. And of course, you have the firefighters fighting till 3 in the afternoon. That's to tell you how serious it is. And you know how fire spreads. You know how it spreads. So you see, when we are looking at the evil, when you are living in a place where you are supposed to have a government and there is no government, you know that is the worst thing that is supposed to be. The worst thing that could happen to humanity is for you to think that you have a government that should protect you, and you give your life to that government, and there's no government to protect you. You have politicians, you have mafians, because when we call them politicians, we magnify their, we give them good names, and of course as if they are good people. We are talking about mafians, we are talking about terrorists. We are talking about the terrorists, like the APC government of today. These are the worst of mafias. Those who have actually killed with the highest records, they are the ones that made up the APC. And today, that is why, because since the APC are in government, you can see that you have the worst kind of killings in, of course, record in the evil contraction called Nigeria. So you don't expect anything to stop, because you see fire break today in Lagos. Who knows where next is going to occur? Who knows who is going to be attacked next? Because nobody is giving account. Nobody is being held responsible. Nobody is doing anything until the day the people will stand up and defend themselves. That is the only way you can be sure of your safety and your freedom. But Nigeria, you can never find security.
Of course, that is what it is. The only way you can find security is when you rise up to defend yourself, to defend your heritage, and that is called self-preservation. Of course, wonderful people of Biafrans and all of us of freedom, this is where we draw the curtain for today's program. Of course, up next is our news summary that is coming up by 6 p.m. And of course, my name is Mazi Victor Oyindo. And Mazi Bright, before we call it a short, what will be your final words of advice and encouragement to Biafrans and all of us of freedom that is viewing you right now?
Yes, you see, I want to encourage Biafrans. Why we cry, he said, no, we have cried enough. We have cried since 1967 up until now. Before 1967, we've been crying, and of course, the cry got towards 1967. And today, we are crying like people in hell. It is time, of course, the remnants of what is left in Biafra land, the remnants of what is left in the evil contraction called Nigeria, and the rest of the world should stand up, because it is not until we are totally wiped up that something can be done. We should stand up and fight for our rights, Join the nearest IPOB family next to you. Don't wait for an army of angels, because some people are saying we are talking too much. You, what have you been doing? Stand up and let's do something. We need to work as a family, stand up as a family, and of course fight as a family. Make sure that we free ourselves from the evil contraction called Nigeria, and that is the only way we can talk of dignity. All hands have to be on deck, and of course we keep fighting until Biafra is restored.
Of course, that's what it is, Biafra and lovers of freedom. Let me add my voice to my brother Mazi Bright Oriako. He have hit the hammer at the nail head by telling all of you to be a part of the solution to this problem that we found ourselves, because we didn't create this problem. The British came from nowhere to create this problem, and we found ourselves in this problem, and it behooves on us to be part of the solution to this problem, and the solution is Biafra. Don't go and sit somewhere castigating or demoralizing the people by saying people should stop talking, because we have seen a lot of people keep saying it. People are talking too much. You that is not talking too much, what have you done? Come and be a part of this very movement. Let us join hand and restore Biafra. Do the best you can do for Biafra, and don't always think about what Biafra will do for you. Until the evening time, stay tuned and don't go nowhere. This is Biafran Television. Thank you, and bye for now.
This is pipeline explosion at Amuodo local government, Abulado to be precise, inside of Monile. Please, we need assistance from fire service. This video should go viral, please. We need the appropriate authority to intervene. It is massive. There has been a lot of destruction of houses here. It is assumed that people are inside the building itself. So this thing is true. It is happening live at Abulado, Amuodo local government. Please. Look at it. It is happening live. It is live at Amuodofi local government. Please. Abulado first 2. That is where it's happening. Adeshoba. This video should go viral. We need appropriate authorities to intervene. The fire is ongoing now, as you can see. It is massive. Houses are destroyed. There has been a casualties. Unconfirmed casualties though, but houses are destroyed. This is pipeline explosion at Amuodo local government, Abulado to be precise, inside of Monile. Please, we need assistance from fire service. This video should go viral, please. We need the appropriate authority to intervene. It is massive. There has been a lot of destruction of houses here. It is assumed that people are inside the building itself. So this thing is true. It is happening live at Abulado, Amuodo local government. Please. Look at it. It is happening live. It is live at Amuodo local government. Please. Abulado first 2. That is where it's happening. Adeshoba. This video should go viral. We need appropriate authorities to intervene. The fire is ongoing now, as you can see. It is massive. Houses are destroyed. There has been a casualties. Unconfirmed casualties though, but houses are destroyed. This is pipeline explosion.